Hey Hot Tots, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I am doing a dating disasters video from Bumble. Again, I talk about things you shouldn't have around children, so please don't let your kids watch it. But just wanted to give that disclaimer. Also, because a lot of people freak out, online dating isn't that scary anymore. It's what happens now in this day and age. I take all the precautions, more precautions than a lot of people do, to ensure that I am safe. I find my friends on my phone, and 3 of my friends know my location at all times. I tell them when I'm going on these dates. I go to a place that I know, or I talk to the bartender when I get there early before the date. If I don't know the bar, I do a lot of things to ensure that I am safe, or as safe as I can be. And look who's still here. I just wanted to preface this video with that, and I hope you guys find this funny. I completely forgot about this date, okay? And then when I was on my app the other day swiping, I was like, oh my gosh, there he is again. And it sparked that memory right up into my brain. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let's get into it. Where to begin? Coldest water bottle, link down below. Guys, here we are. So this happened a while ago. This was probably about a year ago that this date went on. By the way, I'll link down below all the makeup I'm using if you're interested in anything I'm using, but I'm not gonna point it out the whole time because that's annoying. About a year ago, I was chatting with this guy, okay? And we'll call him Jeff. We only talked for a little while because I'll give you guys some tips and tricks. When you're online dating, a lot of times what happens is you talk to someone via text or via phone or whatever for so long, and you get your hopes up because you kind of make up in your head who these people are going to be, and you get so pumped up about it. Oh no, I need to take my nose ring out. Sorry. But anyways, you get so pumped up about it, and then when you actually meet them and they don't meet these expectations you made in your brain, or they don't meet the personality or what you thought they would sound like, look like, all this stuff, you get let down a lot. So when I had been dating a ton back in 2018, beginning of 2019, I realized I'm so over chit-chatting with someone for weeks and then meeting up. I'm just going to literally meet up with someone a couple days after I text them for a little bit. I text them for a couple days, a week at most, and I'm like, let's meet up. Because I just would constantly get let down, and then I would get so used to talking to them on the phone and communicating with them every day that then if it didn't work out, or they ghosted me, or I didn't like them, then I would be extra sad because, oh, I miss texting them, you know? You gotta learn the little ways. Gotta learn the ways of the dating world, and it's a fierce, fierce world out there. This guy was one of the guys that I didn't really talk to for very long, and I never talked to him on the phone. Seemed normal, your average Joe. But his name was Jeff. His real name wasn't Jeff, you guys. I use fake names because just in case, I just want to make sure I don't make anyone mad. I decided I was going to meet him at this place that I go to. It's a Mexican place. It's a Mexican restaurant that I always go to. They know me there, or at least they know of me. They've seen my face before a lot, and it's called Local Cantina. So I was just going to meet him up for lunch, and to give you a description of what he looks like. In his pictures, he's tall, dark, and handsome. Well, basically just has dark hair. So he's tall, white guy with brown, dark hair, brown, scruffy face, blue eyes, and he's about 6'2", and he looks in good shape. One of his pictures was he dressed as Tom Cruise in it must have been Halloween, but you know when like he is in just the long t-shirt and socks and he like runs across the floor. So I was excited to meet him. He seemed normal. Sophie, no one's ever normal that you meet. So like, why do you ever have that expectation? We don't know. So I was gonna meet him for a lunch at local cantina, and it was on a Saturday, I believe. So he was one of those ones where I was like, I don't know if I want to go to dinner with him because I haven't like talked to him for very long. So we'll do a little lunchy, you know? And he's walking up. Okay, so I got there early. I usually do. And he's walking up, and what is with these dudes not like trying to look kind of good, you know? Like, hello, I'm a freaking catch. So he walks up and he's in like workout type of shorts, you know what I mean? And t-shirt. He looks like he just rolled out of bed, but he's very handsome. So you're like, okay, yeah, you roll out of bed, but like, you still look pretty good, you know? I'm not gonna like tell you no. Like, I'm not gonna be like, go away now because you're still looking pretty handsome. So he walks up and he's like, sitting at the table and I just was drinking water waiting for him. And he walks up and he's like, hey. And I was like, oh no. His voice was so high. It wasn't like, I guess it wasn't super high. I would say it was just like feminine sounding. And I've met people like that. You know, sometimes it's just like a lot to take in right at first and then you're fine, but it's just like because you don't expect it. So he like walks up and is like, hey, I'm Jeff. And I was like, hi, I'm Sophie, you know, and he sits down. So already I'm like, okay, you're really handsome. You didn't really dress up for this occasion, but like, we'll let that go. And yeah, your voice is a little, I don't know, higher pitched than other men's voices. But, you know, I will never hold that against someone. That's not something that anyone can control, you know? So I'm like, okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. So I go to order a drink and okay, I get it. Like, there's these drinks at local cantina and they're margaritas. Skinny margaritas, but they use a different type of sour instead of the margarita mix in them, and they're called mustache rides, okay? I get it, I understand. We get it. So the people come up and they're like, oh, can I get you to drink? And you know, when you go there a lot, you're so used to saying that, you know, you're like, oh, I would like a mustache ride, please, you know, whatever. So I was like, oh, I'll get a mustache ride. And he was like, oh, it's that kind of night. I said, no, it's not. I just like low-cal margaritas. Should have known right then, ladies and gentlemen. Gave him the benefit of the doubt because again, like I said, some people are nervous and like make little jokes and do this stuff. And then you're like, okay, like I don't want to like, how many times can I say but I don't want to hold anything against somebody instantly. Like they might just be joking around and whatever. I kind of laugh it off and I'm still like, no. It's not that kind of night. So we order our drinks and he gets something else. I don't remember, but it's like another type of margarita. And I start asking him questions naturally, you know? So the first question I asked, I said like, oh, you know, what did you do all day? And he was like, well, basically smoked pot and played video games. Well, that sounds really great. I understand that like some people smoke and that's okay, but like I personally just don't. And also on your first date, that's what you want to say you did all day. Like, smoked weed and played video games all day long. Wow, what a winner. Okay. He didn't ask me what I did all day. He didn't go like, oh yeah, so, any questions about me? What are you doing the rest of the day? How's your life been? How's dating going for you? Because obviously this date's not going to go great. I'll tell you that right now. I so wish he would have told me that. So he's not asking me any questions. And I'm like, how lovely. So I start asking him questions. Tell me some more about your background, where you came from, what do you do for a living, yada, yada. He goes, well, I was in the Army. I'm like, that's awesome. My family are all military family. We have a lot of Marines and Air Force and mostly Marines, but we have a lot of military members in my family. I was like, so that's awesome. And he's like, yeah, so I got discharged for medical reasons, and he didn't tell me what the medical reasons were. And frankly, I didn't ask because he wasn't asking me anything. So he then said like, oh, I got discharged for medical reasons, so I get money off the government now. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I don't know what to say when he said that. Like, I'm like, great for you. Oh, that's cool. Like, I don't know. And then he said, so I get money from the government, and then I also work at GNC part-time. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so you're just like a manager there? And he said, yeah. And I was like, well, could you do like a full-time job if you wanted? Like, he's like, yeah, it's military money, so it's not like unemployment, so I get that money no matter what, because I was in the military. I got discharged, honorably discharged for medical reasons or whatever. And so I'm like, oh, so you don't want to have like a full-time job? And mind you, he said it had been 4 years since he was in the military. So for 4 years, he was just like chilling with no job and working at GNC. And I was like, is it like something physical? Like, can you not do any, like, can you not sit for a long time? Can you not whatever? And he was like, no, like, I'm completely fine now. Okay. So then he said, well, I used to be a personal trainer, actually. I said, well, that's awesome. Like, did you really like it? Like, why did you quit? You guys, I shouldn't have asked that question. 100% shouldn't have asked that. Never again will I ask them anything. So he said, yeah, I used to be a personal trainer, and that was the best time of my life. And of course I'm like, oh, well, maybe he like loves personal training. So I said, oh, why was it the best time of your life? Did you just really enjoy, personally training people, like helping people with like their before and afters? I know my old personal trainer like loved just seeing their clients have progress. He said, no, it's just all my clients would want to sleep with me. I had a ton of like hot moms, hot MILF moms, and married women, and they're crazy. At this point, I was like, I'm not ordering food. I'll tell you that much. So just to let you know, guys, by this time I had written him off, okay? So there was no hopes of the future, okay? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, whatever, you guys know how I get. I say, oh, really? So like all these moms just wanted to like get with you? That's so cool. Dude, you're on a date to try to be with someone else, and you're talking about how these moms and these married women, so you help people cheat, are so into you. Nay, nay. Nay, nay. Not a good idea, sir. Sometimes these men, I'm like, are you really that stupid? Or like, are you doing this on purpose? Like, are you just not into me? So you're really just trying to like be crazy to make the date end? I really hope so. I really pray for that. So he then is just proceeding to tell me how, like, about examples of women that he slept with and like their husbands, and like how he would go over and like sleep with all these women that he personally trained. And I was like, okay. He's like, they were all over me. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. As he's telling me all this, I'm like, can I get the freak out of here? Because I do not want to be here anymore. He still, mind you, has not asked me anything about myself. And I'm about done with my drink. And he was like, you know, you're a lot different than the last girl that I went on dates with. I said, oh, the last girl you actually dated? And he said, yeah. And I'm thinking in my head, like, sir, we're not going to be dating. So, like, don't worry about that. You'll find your partner, okay? But that girl ain't me. And just for kicks, I said, oh, what was she like? And he goes, well, on her Tinder profile, it said that she was on Girls Gone Wild, where that is the show where the girls flash people for money, basically. And I go, okay. He goes, and I recognized her from an episode. And I was like, I for sure want to go on a date with her. She had great tits. Oh, Jeff. So I go, oh, well, unfortunately, I have really small boobs. Darn it. Not meant to be. And he was like looking down, looking at me. And I was like, and he goes, they'll do. I gotta go. And he goes, yeah, I recognized her from an episode of it. So I knew she was telling the truth. Do you guys know how many episodes of Girls Gone Wild there are? Thousands. So he had to have literally really have watched these and maybe multiple times for him to recognize a girl and recognize that she was on the show. Another winner. Just kidding. Always losing in the game of love. So the bill comes because I say, hey, can I get her check? Like, I gotta go. I have this, and that to do. You know, some BS. And he goes, yeah, can we get her check, please? We'll just get it on one. So I assume he's just gonna buy because, hello, we only each had one drink, that's it, and then just ate the free chips. Like, hashtag thankful that I didn't order food. Hashtag blessed, hashtag thankful. So the check comes and he pushes the check to me. Yeah. I started laughing and I said, well, that wasn't shocking. And I started cracking up. And he goes, well, I'm 100% sure you make more money than me, so I'm sure you can afford it. Ha ha ha. I'll get next time. I said, honey, there's not going to be a next time. I straight up said that. And he started laughing. And then we go to walk out to the car. And I obviously don't think he's going to walk me to my car. I just told him that, like, it's not happening, right? Like, we're not going to be together, unfortunately. He goes to my car with me and he starts talking to me. He's like, well, I had a great time. Thanks for paying. You didn't have to do that. I'm like, what? You made me do that. So I'm like laughing and I'm like, yeah, no problem. You psychopath. And he whips me, he like grabs my arm, he like whips me around and kisses me. Like he didn't go 90 and I went 10 like Hitch says on the movie. He just freaking pushed my face on his and kissed me. And I was like, he lets go of my face and starts laughing and he's like, I'll hit you up when I get home. Later, baby. And you guys, I was like sitting there like, what the hell just happened to me? Quickest half-hour date I've ever had, but man, packed with so much useful information. And an unwanted kiss at the end, which is always the cherry on top of the sundae, am I right? He was so handsome, but it's like the voice thing, I don't know, the screwing a bunch of moms who are married thing. the Girls Gone Wild ex-girlfriend thing, the smoking weed all day and playing video games thing. You know, you can only be so good looking, and looks fade over time, you know? You need to have some substance there. There was no substance there at all. So that ended that date for me. I went and drove home. He was like, text me when you get home. I didn't. And then he proceeded to text me 16 times that night, trying to set up a second date. I finally said, listen, are you listening, Jeff? Listen closely. I will never, ever, ever, ever go on a second date with you. Okay? That's all. Please stop texting me. He said, oh, your loss. I'm a military man. You'd think you'd have more respect for people like me. And I was like, what? First of all, I have the most respect in the world for people in the military. All the men in my family were in the military or are in the military. Shut up. But second, I don't think I'm missing out on much. Okay. But then he finally said one night too, like 2 weeks later, he's just like, hey, ... wanna hook up? I blocked him. Haven't heard from him since, but you guys, I did think about him the other day, which is why I wanted to do this, because I saw him again. And I was just dying. Like, same 5 pictures, same everything. And I was just like, oh gosh, there he is. There he is. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't, because it really helps support my channel. I post every Monday and Thursday, and sometimes on random days like these with some fun videos like Bumble disasters. Isn't dating just... doesn't it just sound like a dream? Or like a nightmare? But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!